Hello everyone! Today we will talk about the summary of a great movie in the mystery genre. The movie is about 20 people who are put in an artificial prison and subjected to a psychological experiment, and how people go crazy. Inspired by a real event, this movie has won many awards such as Best Director, Best Actor. Turavis works part-time at a nursing home and is fired due to budget cuts. The next day he joins an anti-war demonstration with a friend. His friend tells him to fight back and find alternatives. He reminds him that he participated in experiments at university. A brawl breaks out during the protest. While intervening in the brawl, he meets a girl among the protesters. They go out for a drink together, and the girl's name is Mr. He says he wants to go to India to do some yoga and spend some time in a temple. He invites Travis to come with him. Travis says that such a trip will be expensive for him, but he will try some alternatives. When he gets home, Travis goes through the ads and comes across an advertisement for an experiment that will last for 2 weeks. They will pay $1,000 a day. He decides that it can't hurt to try in auditions the next day. One of the officials explains the content of the experiment. One of the officials explains that it is a behavioral experiment that will simulate the conditions of life in prison. He assures that this experiment will be carried out in a very safe environment, and that the participants will be safe during this period. For 2 weeks, some of them will be deprived of their civil rights. Then, some tests are administered to decide who will be selected. In the videotaped interviews, Travis states that he has no history of imprisonment or violence, and his interest in religion with only a no. Then the candidates are shown a slide with disturbing images, and their reactions to the images are measured. After the interview is over, he goes to see Mr. After the interview, the accepted volunteers meet on a street. A bus picks up the selected volunteers and brings them to the place where the experiment will take place. The bus driver doesn't let them take their bags, which annoys Benji the most. She says she has things she needs in her bag, and the driver says everything you need will be there and shows her to the prison. On the first day, Dr. Archuleta gives them a speech and warns them that some of you will be stripped of your personal rights, and warns them not to take this lightly. And if anyone wants to leave, this is the last chance. And if there is no one in the group who wants to leave, the doctor reminds them again that the safety of the participants is their first priority. And if the slightest violence is shown, the experiment will be canceled at that moment. 6 people are guards, and the rest are inmates. The guards read aloud together with the group the 5 rules that the inmates must follow. Rule 1, the inmates must eat 3 meals a day and finish the meals completely. Rule 2, the inmates must be recorded for 30 minutes a day. Rule 3, the inmates may only move around in areas where they are allowed. Rule 4, the inmates may only speak when they are spoken to. Rule 5, the rule says that prisoners cannot touch the guards under any circumstances, and that those who break these rules must be punished proportionately. If a prisoner breaks the rules, the appropriate punishment must be given within 30 minutes, or the red light will turn on and the experiment will end, and no one will get paid. They must strictly follow the rules, and also that this experiment is not a one-person experiment, and that if even one person leaves, no one will get paid. After the doctor leaves, the guards hose down the prisoners. During the rest period, the prisoners are playing basketball among themselves, but one of them accidentally hits guard Bosch in the face with a ball. Bosch's face is bleeding, and the guards take him to have his wound looked at Chase. And Helweg say that they have to do something, or else they will be at the red light at any moment. They say that they can be burned. They say that this violates rule number 5, that the prisoners cannot touch them. There must be an appropriate punishment. Bosch says that it was an accident, it was not intentional. Michael also thinks that it was an accident. But what is important is what the experimental team thinks about it. The guards decide to punish. They ask the prisoner who hit the Bosch to do 10 push-ups, and he says it was an accident, so he won't do the push-ups. But Chase asks everyone to do 10 push-ups. Mick starts doing push-ups and encourages the others to join him. When at the end of 30 minutes, there is no red light, they think they did the right thing and enjoy the power. On the second day, the prisoners are served a prison meal that tastes disgusting. Nix eats the whole meal, but the others don't want to eat it because they don't like the food. Travis is about to throw it away when Helweg says that the whole meal must be eaten. Helweg and Chase say that this is a violation of the rule, Helweg, and Chase say, in an oppressive voice that they must eat it, even if it tastes like dog shit. Travis gets angry and spills the food into Helweg's hand. As punishment, they are asked to do push-ups again, but no one cares. But the guards have a meeting. Chase is very angry. He thinks the only reason the inmates are doing this is because they know they can't beat them. Michael has an idea he remembers. When he was accepted into a fraternity with rules similar to the experimental setting, he tells how the fraternity brothers spent a week trying to break his will and how they did worse without hurting him. They had to think small to break the will of the inmates. As punishment, they decide to enter each cell and empty fire extinguishers on the prisoners. Michael also drags Travis out for instigating the incident and handcuffs him to the cell door so that he can make an example of the others. After the punishment, Michael congratulates the other guards and goes to the bathroom. He realizes that he is enjoying what he has done to the prisoners and that he is overjoyed by this power in his hands. In the middle of the night, Benji politely asks for help because he has a medical emergency. He says his body is on fire and his blood sugar may be low. Benji is diabetic. The guards tell him to shut up and go back to bed. On the third day, Michael gives a speech about how, for the next 11 days, they have to play the game according to the rules so they can get their money and go home. But then he realizes that Benji is not there. Benji is sick and can't get out of bed. His file says he has diabetes, but he is on a diet instead of medication, and he has some candy in his bag. But the bus driver won't let him take it, so he forces him out of bed. Benji is in no condition to take a step, and Travis defends. Michael scolds Travis and reminds Travis that what Benji did was a violation of the rules, and also reminds Travis that he can't talk directly to Benji without talking to him. When his words fail to convince Travis, he gets angry, throws a temper tantrum, and grabs his jab, but Travis reminds him that violence will cause them to lose the money. His friends and Michael intervene and calm the situation. Then, they send the prisoners back to their cells. Meanwhile, the guards are in a meeting. Chase says that the prisoners could revolt at any moment. Bosch disagrees because it would cost them money. Michael thinks they should scare them into submission. The guards take the ringleader, shave him out of his cell, tie him to a chair, shave him into submission and obedience. Travis responds with an expletive, whereupon Michael knocks Travis's chair over and starts urinating on it. He encourages the others to do so as well. The red light does not turn on, and they think that this punishment has been approved. Bosch is extremely disturbed by what has been done. He says that if this happens again, he will stop the experiment, and in such a case, he will not care if the others do not get the money. On the fourth day, Travis goes to Benji and brings him a bread that will raise his blood sugar. Benji tells him that it won't work. In fact, he needs insulin. The real cause of his illness is that his blood sugar is high. He lied to avoid elimination. He thought he could stand it, but things didn't turn out the way he wanted. Travis asks Bosch to pay him $1,000 out of his share to bring Benji's medication. Bosch refuses at first, but then agrees to do it for free. Meanwhile, Helweg arrives and notices Bosch rummaging through the bags on the cameras. They go to Bosch and find the insulin in his pocket. What Bosch does is a violation of the rules, and this action may cause the red light to turn on and terminate the experiment. Then Michael takes the insulin to Benji himself. Helweg pulls Travis into the bathroom. Michael asks Travis to clean the toilets as punishment. Travis refuses. Then they force a toilet bowl on Travis's head and succeed in breaking his resistance. When he returns to his cell, he begins to cry because of what happened. Later that night, Michael lifts Bosch from his bed and takes him to a room where there are no cameras. The other guards beat Bosch. On the fifth day, Benji is fine. Bosch has now joined the prisoners. Travis can't stand it. He takes off his clothes and starts to climb towards the cameras. The guards stop him and take Travis down. Benji tries to help Travis by hitting Michael from behind. Michael hits Travis hard on the head, knocking him down after the incident. He decides to separate the prisoners from each other. Benji is lying on the floor in a pool of blood in the experiment whose safety is guaranteed. Despite all this, the red light does not turn on. Meanwhile, Chase handcuffs Oscar to a pipe to finish what he started. Travis is going crazy in the dark place where he is staying, but thanks to his wristband, he manages to escape. He runs to Oscar's cries for help and knocks Chase out together with Oscar. When Travis comes to Benji's side, he realizes that he is dead. Realizing that the prisoners are going to attack, the guards get scared and start to run away. They cannot open the doors because they are locked from the outside. Michael tries to convince them to fight the prisoners, and finally the prisoners catch them. Travis is beating Michael while the red light turns on, and the experiment ends. The minibus comes to pick them up. They all get on the same bus as if these events never happened. They all get on the same bus, they get their checks. After a while, the experiment is in the news. The doctor is on trial for causing the death of a human being. The participants of the experiment are ready to testify about this. Travis Say has come to India and meets with the Bay of this movie, inspired by an event that happened. So don't forget to leave your thoughts about the movie in the comments. See you in the next video. Goodbye.